Hey you guys, it's Amy Gretchen. Welcome back to another 2018 December daily video. So today I'm going to be working on days 6 and 7, and like I did for days 1 through 3, I kind of have a foundation or an idea. I've got my photos printed of how I want this story to go. And so hopefully it'll just be really quick putting it together. But before we get started with this, I'm just gonna move that aside real quickly and bring over my album because I wanted to show you a couple of things. I did get the red numbers, and I'm gonna show you the pack. So this is the pack that came, or this is the pack that I ordered, and it comes with 2 sheets of black, white, pink, this beige color, and red. So I think these will be really great for Project Life and my other projects, but also of course December daily. So I went ahead and I used the red here and then also on day 1. So I'll just kind of show you that change there, also on day 1. So I kind of liked those little bits of red. And then I wanted to show you one other thing that I did. So this is probably hard to see here, so I'll just pull it out. I was looking, every time I flipped to this page, I was looking at this bauble right here and this big circle, and I wanted something, and you can see how it, you know, these two things work together. I just really wanted something on this photo, and I tried to use, let me get, if I can find the card. Oh, here it is. Allie has some stamps that match these cards, and I have the digital stamp, and I thought that this would be really cool to cut out with a silhouette, and I actually pulled it up on my silhouette, but when you look at it really closely, you can see that serif is just way too small, and that would not cut out very well at all. I didn't even try it. I just looked at it and I was like, that would be a disaster. So I kind of looked around and I didn't find anything that I loved, and so I kind of gave up. Well, last night when I was looking for this, and I bought this from Paislee Press, this was like I think this was like a Thanksgiving digital kit that she put together. I really loved it. I bought this, but I really love the December, and I want to use the December card, so I thought, you know, I will print this out and use it on day 6. And while I was looking for that, I found this file here because I have her December fave. Sorry, there's a little bit of sun there. I have her December favorite kit from this year, which is number 7. And I loved it. So if you can't tell, that's actually cut out. I think if I had to do it all over again, I mean, I love this. Of course I would do this again. But originally I wish I had just, you know, digitally added a stamp to that. But since I didn't, I really love this 'Tis the Season, and her handwriting is so beautiful. So it actually cut out really well on the silhouette. So those are actually a couple changes. No, I wouldn't say changes, add-ons. I never go back and change things unless something maybe falls apart. But sometimes I look at something and I'm like, oh, you know what, something's missing, and then I will add it on. All right, so that's just a couple of things I did. I'm just gonna move that aside. And now let's bring back day 6. This is day 6. And the story that I'm going to be telling today is all about how normally on Sunday evenings we will watch a movie together as a family. It's just kind of something that we've been doing the last little bit. But this week we ended up all gathering around our dining room table, and we were all working on crafty things. So my husband was doing an art project for someone. Then my kids were coloring with Copics, and I was working on some homemade gifts. So I loved this moment. I love that we were all gathered around together. I love that there's the tree in the background. It just feels really festive.
All right, you guys, so I apologize that my screen is out of focus. So give me about 20-30 seconds and it will change and it will go back into focus. So the one thing I was thinking when it came to this photo is there's just kind of a lot of dead space. And so I thought it'd be fun to add something on top. And of course, Allie did this, I think, in maybe day 3 and 4, and I've seen so many other people do it on Instagram that I thought, you know, why not do the vellum or the transparency on top and kind of create this flip? So just add some interest to the photo. So that's what I've decided to do. And so I started grabbing over all of my transparencies that I could think of and all of my vellums that I thought would go really well with the December daily. You know, there's a lot of gold or silver. So I just kind of pulling those out. And then I just set those aside because I wasn't quite ready for them. All right, so now I'm ready to work on my journaling. So I found this card, this story that came in the December Daily Kit, and I really love that. I love the font there. And I set it up in Photoshop. So I did all the typing and wrote out my story, and then I set it up how I wanted it to on the card, and then I printed it out. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that card and I'm going to adhere it onto it. And I like to look through like a window or some type of light source to help me get it in the exact right place. And then I'm going to print it again and send it through my printer. So the one thing I will say is make sure when you print it out again, if you have something on a graphic on top, like I had that black, this story, make sure you erase it or make sure you do not print it or it will print on top of your card. Anyway, if you do that, you ensure that you get great placement every time. All right, so I wanted to show you the other thing that I decided to do. So while I was doing my journaling, I decided that I really wanted that gather card to be a see-through element. So I decided to try it and see if I could make it work in the silhouette. My blade is really dull, so I was like, this is really delicate and really fine. I hope that I can get this to work. And you saw with the original that it was just the word. So in Photoshop, I actually had to add a border. It was really easy to do. It's just you add a stroke to the file. And then in Silhouette, I created a cut file with the stroke on there so that I was able then to cut it out. And it had some structure because it had the outline around the edge. So hopefully that makes sense, you guys. I thought it turned out really cool. Now I'm considering doing that for that December, the December card that came in the Paislee press kit and making it really big, like a 6x8. I think that could be really cool. Actually, I was thinking that maybe I would do that for next year, make it really cool, like a big December. So I don't know, just thoughts that I have, right? Okay, so I'm moving on to this transparency or this vellum, and you'll see that I actually work on it and then come back to it. And I love the stars that Allie added to her large number. I think she did that in the product play class, or else she just did it on her blog. And I thought that would be a lot of fun to add some texture to this number. This number actually came in the Week in the Life kit this year. So I'm just kind of pulling from other supplies that I have. And I grabbed over this Tim Holtz stencil. The one thing about this stencil is I think it's made for stamping in that it's got like the actual cutout of the star and then it has like an imprint of the star. So you can layer on different colors and you can get it in the exact right placement. So I had to actually do this twice. So you can see that I added stars and now I'm going to set it aside and I'm going to wait for it to dry. And then later on, I will add more stars onto it. I actually like the way that it looked just there. I kind of wish I had left it. Not that I don't like the final product, but the final product is a little bit busier. So I kind of just like that subtle star now that I'm looking at it. Anyway, I digress. I find that that's one thing that's hard about going back and watching videos is you are looking at all the stuff you could have done and wondering why you didn't do, whatever the decision was. So anyway, I think it's kind of funny to relive those decisions because this right here was the hardest decision to make in this whole process. What vellum to choose. Do I choose the clear with the gold? Do I choose just the white stars? Do I choose the vellum with the gold dots? Like you guys, I literally could not decide. I was having such a struggle that I decided to set it aside and work on day 7. All right, you guys, so I'm moving on to day 7, even though I'm not done with 6 because I'm letting the texture paste dry. And also I haven't decided in my mind if
if I want to use the polka dots or the stars. So as I work on this, I'll think about it and hopefully I'll get an idea. So for day 7, I'm talking about the story that I'm telling about is how I took several girls in my neighborhood. We went down to see the lights on Temple Square, and so that is what my story is all about. I actually went ahead and printed 2 pictures off on my Instax, but I don't know if it's my printer. It's an Instax printer, so I don't know if it's my printer or if it's my actual film, but the prints they're very faded, and I've always been like fine with that, except I'm feeling like I'm having a really hard time seeing everybody. So I did go ahead and print one off just on a 3x4 piece of paper like I normally do, just in case maybe I will want to use that one instead, but I haven't yet decided, but maybe I will do one and then one. But this is kind of what I was thinking. I don't know if I'll use this, but I was thinking of then creating, even though this is only 3 pocket, making it look like it is a 4 pocket. So I printed 2 off, one with the number. So this is that same card digital file that I used from Ali Edwards that I used in day 5. If you remember, I just took off the outline on day 5 and I left the outline on day 7. So this was a way I thought I could include the number. I thought I could also include the number like this, maybe like right on top of the photo. That was also an option. And I could still do that, and I could use this one, and I could add, I could add something cute just to make it fun and festive, So maybe I could do that because it was cold, and there's these, I could do like a little hat. Don't you love when you get ideas as you are going along? So, you could do something like that. I don't really want to reprint it. So we'll see. I haven't yet made a final decision. I could do like a star.
All right, so let's move this along, you guys. So I grabbed over some of the stars and hearts that I had. Those stars came from last year's kit, and then those hearts came from this year's December Daily kit. So I was just looking at options for what I could put in the center, and I really like that heart that says jolly, because that's kind of a lot about what the journaling was about, just about how much fun we ended up having that night. And there was a lot of laughs and some really funny experiences that we have. One of those experiences is we ended up running into a mall cop in the parking, and we had some hot chocolate. And he said in all seriousness that hot chocolate was a banned substance in the underground parking and that we had to take it outside. So he basically laughed about it all night, wondering what he must have meant by that, because I don't know, it was such a silly thing to say. Anyway, it was a really fun night together. So you can see that I just went ahead and I cut out that card. It was nice that the laurel goes off the edge so you know exactly where to cut. And then I pulled over the 7. I found the 7, and I'm just now trying to figure out how I want this to go. I'm just not loving the Instax for some reason, and I am not sure why. And so I grabbed over these numbers that actually are written out, and they came from One Little Bird's kit from 2015. I'm trying to remember way back. That was like the very first year I did December Daily. I bought her kit because that's when there was a bunch of mini kits, and it was a really fun kit, but I have a whole bunch of those letters left over. So I grabbed over the one that said 7, and I was considering I could add that. That could be a really great option to add. But then I thought, why don't I just go ahead and reprint the photo? Because I think that that's what I was having an issue with, is I really just wanted the photo to look a little bit better. And so I went ahead and just reprinted the photo. And I apologize. There's something on my page protector and it was driving me crazy. So I was trying to figure that out. Anyway, so I cleaned off my page protector, and I decided that once I printed out that photo, I liked it a lot better. I thought it looked nicer. I guess with the large 7, it just made that 7 really pop. And those warm colors in the photo kind of made the the gold dots on the 7 really pop as well. So I'm basically done with 7, but I could not adhere it to the back of this photo until I figure out exactly what I was going to do with the photo, because I need the vellum on there first. But now I'm moving back to my number 6, and I'm going to add the rest of the stars on there. I just went ahead and lined up the stars. I kind of wish I hadn't lined them up and just did them haphazardly, because on the left side of the 6, you'll see when I pull it off, I felt like that there was something missing. Also, you will notice when I pull it off that the ones that I just did were a little bit darker. I think that they are, or I guess I should say a little bit more opaque. I think that they were a little bit thicker, and I actually liked that it looked like one was darker and one was a little bit lighter. So I set that aside to dry, and I actually went and had lunch. So now it is dried. It actually didn't take that long to dry it all. And now I'm going to finish up day 6. So I still haven't decided what I want to do. I'm just kind of messing around to see what I like the look of better. So I grabbed over this washi. It's kind of a clear washi. Well, it's kind of a creamy washi with the gold on it. And then I pulled over this vellum that's got the gold polka dots. And now I'm putting the red washi on top just to see what I think and how I like that. Then I will put it with the page protector just to see how I like it. Now, I wish I had actually put it with the entire spread, because on its own, I felt like, the gold kind of was out of place a little bit. But when you put it with the whole spread, I kind of liked it. And to be honest, I kind of liked those together. I thought that was really cool. So I haven't quite decided exactly what I'm going to do. And like I said, that is often the hardest thing for me, where you're like, okay, this is going to take me 15, 20 minutes to put together, however long it ends up taking those embossed stars on the 6 to dry. It really should not have taken that long, but because I hummed and hawed about what vellum to use, that actually took the most amount of time here. And it's funny because my daughter and her friends came home after school while I was working, and they gave me their opinions about what they thought as well. They actually really liked the stars. And I really like the stars as well, especially because I think I really liked that pop of black. I liked that there was some contrast in the photo, and that transparency was see-through, and so you were able to see the photo a little bit better. So I did like that, and that is how I was working. I was working towards using those stars, and you'll see in the end that I actually do use the stars, but not exactly like this. I end up combining it with something else, but this is the direction I'm going right now. And then I grabbed over some score tape so I could hear that number right on to the transparency. So I'm using the 1/8 inch size, and then also the 1/4 inch size, just so I can get into some of those smaller areas. And it sticks really well right on top. And the stars are a really great texture, and it doesn't look like it's something that will peel off at all. So I think that will be fine as well as it, ages. And then I'm opening it up so that I can stick down the journaling and the photo then on the other side. Now, it didn't fit totally perfect. I think I end up cutting off just a smidge of the photo and that vellum, but I got it so they met together in the middle, and then I just ended up cutting down one of the sides. So like I said, it was very little, so it didn't make a difference to the photo at all. And then I noticed once I folded it up that you could see some of the gold tape at the top. So I decided to fix that a little, and I just moved things up just a little bit. And then here I am just going to cut it off. You can't even see, it's such a tiny little slice. You can see how small that is. And it was a little bit smaller in the pocket, but honestly, it really wasn't that big of a deal. And I think because of the fold, it will be fine to stick in the pocket and stay. So now the last thing that I'm going to do before I make a slight change is add the number. And I just went ahead and added some tape onto that as well, and then adhered it right onto the photo. I like that like I said, that there was enough contrast in the photo to really make that 7 pop. All right, so this is kind of when I decide to change my mind, is I grab over my album, and I'll do that in just a minute. I grab over my album and I put it in, and I'm looking at it with both spreads together, and you can see that red star. Actually, I kind of like that. I'm thinking I might add that to the bottom right, because I don't know, I liked that pop of red there. But anyway, like I said, you think of things once you start looking at stuff a little bit longer, right? So I don't know if that's a detriment or not. Oh yeah, one more thing that I ended up doing is I wanted everyone to know that you could flip this up, and so I ended up putting that tab on top. So this is where I made the change, and you can see actually that I just went ahead and I put that gold vellum right on top of the star, so it was really easy to just kind of fit on top of there. And I really liked it because of the gold star that's on the December faves. So I felt that that really added to the whole overall spread. Even though they're not supposed to be combined, I just liked having that gold there. And you guys, I really did hum and haw about this for a while, and even my husband was gone all day, and when he got home, I asked him, he's, you know, an artist, and I'm like, what do you think? Is this better? Do you like this pop of black, or do you like the way that I have it with, you know, both the transparency and the vellum? And he did like them both together. He thought that this subtle star was great. You know, he just thought that it looked great too. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to leave it. And like I said, this is one of those instances where I wish I hadn't have taken so much time to make a decision and just go for it and let it go. This is not rocket science. This is just fun. This is just play. It's just really a way for me to get this story told and documented. So anyway, that is my advice to you. Do not take this too serious. Just have fun. It doesn't matter if it's stars or dots or white or gold. Just allow this process to be fun. Anyway, you guys, that's it for day 6 and 7. Thank you so much for being here. Really hope you were able to get some inspiration. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. And if you like what you saw, please give this video a thumbs up. That totally helps me out. You guys are awesome, and totally grateful for you being here, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.